Hi, good evening. My name is Jay Rothman. I am the host of the show. Welcome to Real Men, Real Talk, live. Welcome back to tonight's episode 135. In the studio this evening, we are so excited to introduce my co-host this evening. We have Mr. Josh Richer coming in from Southern California. Welcome back, Josh J. Ritty.
Good to be here, guys.
He's not Jay Ritty this week.
Yeah.
Well, changing it up.
Being a bit formal.
Really?
We also have the man of the land from down under. He resides in Australia. His name is Evis Love Heath. Welcome back, Evis Love.
As always, brothers and sisters, thank you. Looking forward to diving in deep with our guest tonight.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Mr. Jeff Fasano. He calls Nashville, Tennessee home. Welcome back, Mr. Breakthrough Jeff Fasano.
Yeah. I'm really interested. Yeah. Well, This show is all about breakthroughs.
There we go. Breakthrough the inner freedom. And of course, tonight we are so excited and honored to introduce our special guest this evening. His name is Eric Hollenbeck. And Eric is a producer and TV show host of a beautiful program called The Craftsman. He comes in on from Discovery to HBO Max to Magnolia and season 1 on Amazon Prime, I should say. Eric Hollenbeck, welcome to Real Men, Real Talk Live.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, all of you. Nice getting together with a good group of guys. Thank you.
For tonight's episode, our topic this evening, we invited Eric in our production meeting just a couple of 24 hours ago to come up with a topic. And tonight's topic that is dear to his heart is From Adversity to Life's Artistry. Episode 135, and there's just some of the highlights that we're going to kind of check up on tonight. Is how can you overcome odds to live and love your passion? Are you enjoying your life in all of your adversity? What's the steps to find one thing you love doing and do the best you can with it? How to discover your talents and embrace your compensator in 2023, and that's definitely one that we're going to ask Eric to tell us what the heck is a compensator. And how can shining your light on others impact you? Lastly, what role does honesty play in the process of finding your artistry through your adversity? And so, Eric, being that you are tonight's beautiful guest, that we're so excited that you accepted our invitation to join us tonight. This is you are the first male guest to join us, I think, in about a year and a half or so. It's been a while since we've had another man join us. But Josh, before Eric jumps in, I'd like you to share with us, what was your attraction to Eric? Why did you reach out and say, hey, I know it's been a while since we've invited a man in, but why this man right here in this black and red checkered jacket that he's wearing tonight? Why Eric?
Oh, man. Eric, I stumbled upon your show on HBO probably about 2-3 weeks ago. And I'm, coming as an art director in TV. I'm a woodworker and not a craftsman to your level by any means, not even close. But I couldn't put your episodes down. And I crushed the whole 2 seasons within a few nights because I fell in love with you. The heart that you put into your work and into your, not only your craftsmanship, but your life. And you would weave these beautiful life lessons of being a man, learning how to come into your own passion, learning how to gracefully learn and grow through life, especially through challenges and setbacks. Your message that came through and hit me right squarely here in my heart was so special and so amazing, and I don't see that on TV. And I said, I got to reach out to Eric. And I sent you an email the next day after I finished season 2, because I was like, you know what? I would love for Eric to come join us on the show. I don't know if he would accept the invitation, but I got to try. And so we are really fortunate to have you here joining us tonight and to share your beautiful messages, because I love this man.
Eric, I am curious, Eric, for you, how is it to receive these loving words coming from another man who, for all intents and purposes, was a stranger just a couple of weeks ago to you? How does it feel to receive him expressing and sharing how much he respects and honors, and he sees you as in a show, not as the showman, but literally tapping in, and he was able to feel connected to you at your heart space. How is that for you to receive that right here, right now, live on air?
Difficult, because I don't think of myself that way. I'm just dumb Eric. I'm gonna die dumb Eric. That's who I am, and that's fine. I'm totally comfortable with dumb Eric. I just have observed my whole life. I observed in high school. I observed in dropping out of high school and going into the woods and logging. I observed being with men's men. I observed my tour in combat in Vietnam. I observed getting home, and then I have spent the rest of my life, the last 50 years, observing millwork, architectural millwork, and how did the original guys do it, and why did they do it that way? It's always curious to me. Why did you do it like that? And don't tell me because they didn't have the equipment, because I ain't got the equipment. So there's something going on, something bigger, and I think that's my one claim to fame is that I have the ability to watch and observe.
And that comes through in your message outside of just the beautiful carpentry that you do, Eric, is that you are like a life problem solver and a life observer. And when you're faced with personal challenges in life, you found your way out of those too. And in fact, I'm excited to hear from you again, because it was my favorite part of the show. Can you tell us, our guests, what the compensator is? I love this.
So we've been working with high school kids for 21 years here. Kids that are having trouble in high school, because I get them. I understand that. That's easy for me. And I tell them over and over again, life, everybody has a handicap. I don't care. You guys are going to laugh because I say the word wrong and you laughed on Tuesday, but I don't care if your name's Beyonce. I don't even know who that is, but God bless you, Beyonce. Everybody has a handicap, but life gives every one of us a compensator, something we are extra good at. And I think that for young people, you need to find your compensator. What did life give you that you are extra good at? And then play to that. Only an idiot plays to his bad cards and throws away the aces. And come on, play to your good hand. That's the compensator. And know that every day you'll get better at it. That if I can get one thing across tonight, it's that tomorrow you're going to be a little bit better than you were today. So you do the best you can on every project, be it woodworking, be it metalworking, be it any of the trades, be it relationships, be it the wife, be it anything, the health, anything. Do the best you can today and know that tomorrow you're going to be that much better.
Evis, what do you make of what Eric just shared?
Yeah, beautiful, brother. I just want to rewind it a little bit back here, but
Yeah,
just touching on what you're saying, Eric. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful when you talk about these outreach programs for these troubled youth, so to speak, because it's happening all around the world. And I spoke to you about it through the week, how I help brothers and sisters here in the land down under. You might say that have grown up in some of those so-called dysfunctional families, that the compensator within many of, First Nations people here is the color of their skin. So when I go into these schools with these youth programs, it's actually being able to express and make them feel proud of their culture, their identity, and their sense of belonging. And I think what I want to learn about you first, my brother, with you growing up with your background, because I know, we hear these stories of these young youth coming through. What's a little bit about your story growing up?
Yeah, I left school.
It makes you so passionate about helping the youth.
I left school because I can't read, and they kept telling me I was stupid. I remember in second grade, I will never forget. That second grade is when you take a 10-digit number and subtract another 10-digit number from it. You're learning addition and subtraction. I was the best in the class. If you were going to do a math quiz, you wanted me. I was the first one picked every time. I was hot, fast, and got the right answer every time. If you were in a spelling test, I was the last one picked. I sat in the back of the room. I was the first one to sit down. I wouldn't even try. I'd just go sit down. Until the day that the teacher called me up to the blackboard and had me subtract on the blackboard a 12-digit number from a 12-digit number. And I subtracted from left to right. It was easy for me. It was the way my brain worked. I could look over here. Am I going to be borrowing from this or not? Yes, I am. I was fast. I got that number up, and she just rained on my parade. Huge. Oh man. Oh my God. And that was when I shut down in school. I didn't do it ever again. But can we get back to the Aborigine kids? Because I really want it.
100%. And why I wanted to ask you that question, it was setting you up, my man, because a lot of these young kids that I help, they do have problems with that reading and being able to write.
Yeah.
So we're talking about tonight overcoming adversity into life's artistry. So even just picking up on your beautiful story that you've shared with us tonight, a lot of these kids not being able to logically learn analytically with the left brain, you switch them over onto the right brain, the creative brain, and they're able to express themselves so much more freely. And see, in our culture, that's how we expressed ourselves. We've done it through song, we've done it through dance, we've done it through art.
We've done it.
You weave it magically through your woodwork.
We do it through stories. We've done it since cavemen.
Yes.
Yeah. So I really want to touch on the kids you work with. and I hope some of them are watching. Come on. I got a company. We have employees. We ship product all over the United States. We've done it 50 years now. 50 years we've been in business. I don't have to read. What do I have to read for? Viviana, my wife, reads. She reads everything to me. I don't got to read. I have to find out, how do I become the best that I can be? Just the best that I can be in what I do. That's what I had to learn. And that's what I did. But you guys, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I don't want to step on people. There is a saying, and you've heard it. What don't kill you makes you stronger. Everybody heard that?
Mm-hmm. I've lived it.
What does that really mean? Really? Because you got to remember, every story has got two stories in it. What's a story about? And then what's a story really about? There's a thread inside that. What's the thread inside it? Okay, let's dissect it. What don't kill you makes you stronger. Does it make you physically stronger? Maybe there's a little bit of that in there. Could be. Does it make you spiritually stronger? It probably could be some of that in there too. Does it make you smarter, stronger? There's probably a little bit of that too. But I think the real strength comes, gentlemen, it gives you empathy. That's the strength, because you've walked a mile in them boots. Have the empathy. And I'll tell you what, people, the Ev's working. Ev's, is that right?
You're right, brother. Yeah.
Okay. Is working with. I have lived long enough. You guys haven't. I have lived long enough to see that happen in my own community. When I was growing up, there was a Caterpillar tractor dealer for big D8 Caterpillar tractors on every block. Some of them were new tractors, some of them were used tractors. There were tractor repair places. You could buy cleats for the tractor there were choker makers to make the steel chokers go around the logs. There were the newspaper was full of it. The television, that's all the ads on the television. The tire companies were all about truck tires for logging trucks. All of that's gone. Now those same places, physical spaces that I drive by are get your fingernail done places or dog walkie places. The saw shop up the street that was there for 45 years is a place that you can board your dog out for a day. Doggy daycare or something. And I'm not saying that none of that's bad. Please understand that. I'm saying that in my life, that's 180-degree change. 180 degrees. And that's what these young people that you're dealing with are running into. There's 180-degree change. You want them to rise and shine, ask them, how can I make ochre paint?
I saw that episode. That's a good one.
Oh, because I want to know. I want them to make a video for me. So that you take them out in the bush. You take them out. I think you guys call it the bush. We call it the woods. But you take them out and show them What does ochre look like
Yeah.
in the ground? What is that? There sure as heck ain't a sign there that says ochre for 25 cents a pound right here. Like a
Yeah.
and you see what I'm trying to get at? That
Yep.
they've got innate knowledge that is their compensator. And there is room for that, I hope. Truly, God felt, I hope in this world that there is not only room, but there is a need, and that the world will pay money to support you and work better at getting what you're doing done. Sorry.
Beautiful. No need to apologize. Jeff,
Yeah.
you've been such an active listener this evening. I would like to invite you to let us know what are you making of what Eric has shared with us this evening so far. What's resonating with you, and what's coming forward for you in this moment?
Okay, so in our production meeting on Tuesday night, I remember Jay saying, I have some questions for you, Eric. And emphatically, I said, let's keep them for the show.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about truth. What's our truth inside of us? And you said something about truth, and then truth with a capital T. And I have been dying to ask you to clarify that, talk about that, because it intrigued me so much. But I wanted to ask the question on the show, and explain that, because you were so emphatic about it, and I don't quite understand it. So that is what I've been waiting 2 days to ask you. What is truth, and what is truth with a capital T?
Truth is, the way that it is to me is, what am I comfortable in? What parameters am I comfortable in? But that's a small letter T truth. That ain't truth. That's my truth. That's only my truth. Science is looking for truth with a capital T. And I got to tell you, world, listening to this, there is none. Zero. None. And the scientists know this. I've got a great friend who is a Nobel Prize winner, Kip Thorne, and he and I talked at length about this. There is no truth with a capital T, because we don't have all the a script of the play yet. We're finding more pieces of the script as we go along. We're being handed pages as we show up for our audition. It's the grand quest. Boy, that's a big word. That's a 50-cent word right there. It's a grand quest of science to say that we're on that path. But have you guys heard of
I have a question for you real quick, Eric, before we move on from the big T, little t. So the big T, the truth to everything, is to yet be defined and figured out, right? But we're living our lives within our truth. And wouldn't we say that our truth is a flexible thing?
Yes. Yes.
Hasn't your truth of yourself expanded over the years? Haven't you become a bigger version of you, a more talented version of you? So, man, I just hearing you speak, I think about how small I was living in my truth box 10 years ago, the truth that was my truth 10 years ago, and how wrong I was. It's not the truth I'm living today. It's not the talents I am shining into today. And so truth, if science hasn't nailed it down to a specific, and we certainly aren't locked in, maybe truth is just a big fallacy, it's all fake.
You know what I when we were talking about that, and now along with what Josh said, is what I'm getting is truth with a small t is our truth, and as Josh says, that's ever changing and ever growing, because my truth 6 months ago to my truth now is very different.
Mhm.
What I think I'm understanding you is that there's that inner truth that we all have about ourselves. And as we continue to grow and learn more about ourselves, that truth shifts and changes into a more deeper truth of our being and who we are. The truth with the capital T is a universal truth. A universal truth of I'm not quite sure of what.
But truth, my turn.
Yeah.
Truth with a capital T. And let's get back to your young people as truth with a capital T can't be changed. It cannot. That's the truth. We ain't got there, and that's fine. But truth with a little t can be changed. And every one of us on this screen is doing that daily. And that's why I brought up the ochre, because that's going to change their truth to themselves. I'll tell you a story. I have never charged enough for what I do. Because I always thought I can't have any value, because if what I do had value, then people who knew how to read and write would do it. I mean, that's pretty damn simple. Until 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we started opening for tours. And all of a sudden, I got mirrored back an image that I'd never seen before. These people were oohing and ahhing over what I did. And I never saw that image before. So I haven't broken the top of my box yet, but I'm pushing on the lid. And I probably never will break through the box, but it's okay. At least I know that it's a fallacy. It's a story. And it's not a true story.
Bingo.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, last week, wow. So last week, oh man, when Josh said our story, not trusting ourselves, what you're talking about is the story that we've always told ourselves, and that isn't the truth of who we are being. And last week on the show, that was as Jay said earlier tonight in the intro, that was a big breakthrough for me, because the story that I was always telling myself is not the truth. That's why I brought this up. So basically, it's about telling the world, telling the kids, that whatever story that you're telling yourself was told to you and is not really the truth of who you are being. And then take them on that journey of discovering that truth, that they have the great compensator, that it is there somewhere and they can find it. They can do whatever they want to do whatever they dream of.
Mm.
That they're powerful enough within themselves to do that. And there is that great compensator there to make something of your life, move into greatness. As you said in the beginning of the show, I'm just Eric. I'm just Eric. But you are, and I'm just Jeff. But there's a deeper and greater truth about that within us, that we can do whatever we put our minds to and our hearts to in this world, and that's our truth.
Beautiful.
Mm.
I
And
love that. Go ahead, Josh.
Mm.
Real quick before we move on, what struck me, Eric, was that, you know, we're talking about artistry, we're talking about art guiding us through this process of life, right? It was your love of woodworking that brought those tours in, and that exposed you to the truth of yourself. And so art was the vehicle for you finding your truth and who Eric is. And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And we have to stay. My wife, Viviana, we've been married. He's watching this 46 years, Viv. I think 46.
I better get that number.
Get it right, brother. Get it right. She and I are a team, and I have two things to say. Number one is that I lost the first one. Can I say the second one?
Yeah.
It's about truth. And it's about truth because we're talking about who are men, right? What's a man? And is a man somehow manly and has big biceps, and it's that way to the beach, or you know, what the heck is it? What is it? You know, it's inside. That's what I have found out. It's inside, and and that inside is reflected in everything that we do, say, and think. It just is, because so it's like two old lovers, Viviana and I, walking down this endless road, and we see something over here on the side, and we're walking hand in hand, and we go over and look at it, and then we step back and we explain to each other what we just saw, and I will guarantee it ain't the same thing. But someplace in between those two is the truth with a capital T, maybe. Someplace in between. But each one of us have to be comfortable enough in ourselves to listen to the other one, try and take out all of the pieces of the mind that are nuggets that we can understand, because we're coming at it from the male side. Take out the pieces that we can understand, and her feminine side has to do the same thing and listen to my ramblings and take out the pieces that she can understand. And then, well, just like after we get done here, then we have a talk together about it and say, you know, what do you think? She told me the other day that she believes the only truth with a capital T in the entire universe is love.
Bingo. That's what I.
Bingo.
And that was a nugget I could pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you repeat that? Can you say that one more time?
That was a nugget I could pick out. That wasn't part of the overfill. That wasn't part of the tailings that were hauling out of the mine. That was a nugget that I saw. And I think she absolutely might be right.
Yeah.
I would like to, can I say one, I don't know where we are on time, but
It's
one
all
quick-
right. No, you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cool.
We got-
You don't need to worry about it. We got
We
you.
don't have sponsors.
So, so you know that, I keep saying there's no truth with a capital T. So then I asked Kip, well, what about 2 and 2? 2 and 2 is 4. Well, in Einstein, not Einstein, in Newtonian physics, in big physics, yes, that's absolutely right. The problem is the minute you get into the quantum world, that don't work anymore.
Right.
It ain't core anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, that they're really, people, really honest to God, there is no truth with a capital T, period. None. And we keep looking for it. We keep the God formula. We keep looking for it. And that's part of our search. I was told when I was 16 by a world famous artist named Morris Graves, there's only 3 questions. And it's the same 3 questions of humankind that have been asked since the cavemen. Who put us here? Why are we here? And where are we going? Those are the 3 questions. And that's what trying to break truth with a capital T, it's trying to answer those 3 questions.
I love that. I love that, Eric. I want to take us on this journey. I want to go a little deeper in this moment with you right here, right now. And really, this is a question for you to answer from your own experience, as well as the wisdom that you picked up along this journey called life. And that is that if you were born into Eric Hollenbeck's body, and you witnessed frontline, age 19, signed up for frontline battles in Vietnam. Then you also, that was coming off of getting diagnosed with some type of learning disability. How would you encourage those that are living, holding on to their pain, their inner pain, around things that they experienced, witnessed, tasted, smelled, touched, as well as things that they were told about themselves? How do we shred all of those experiences to tap into our compensator? If you're a student today, you were that student. How did you break through? Now, before you go there, I do want to say is that I know one of your techniques that I heard loud and clear in at least a couple of episodes was that you created somewhat of a compound for yourself, almost like a space of isolation. But that was I don't know if that really was what got you there, but I am curious from your perspective, if it's me and I'm struggling with PTSD and I'm struggling with some type of diagnosis that has impacted my ability to feel smart enough or intelligent enough or just being enough, period. How did you break through that? How did you go from there to becoming a man that has so much wisdom that you brilliantly infuse into every episode of your show, The Craftsman? How did you get from there to here? What did that look like for you?
Would some power the gift to give us to see ourselves as others see us? I don't know. But I would like to tell you one thing. that I have done with our students for 21 years now. And look, the finest gift that we can give another human being is to praise them.
Mm.
And I got to tell you, it's easy and it's free. God, dang, and you can't believe how hard I have to struggle with the teachers that we've got down here. So a kid makes a turning on the lathe, let's say, and brings it up to me and shows me. Never once in 19 years have I said, that's not sanded good enough. You could have cut that more here. You could have done it. If you can't think of any other praise, tell them, oh my God, you thought that up. That design out of your own mind, that is a creation of your own thoughts. Look at how good you did. They got eyeballs. They know that they needed to sand it more. They know that they could have cut. And tomorrow they get better. But by God, try and drown a person with praise. You try and do that. You can waste the boredom for hours, praise, and they will come bubbling up to the top going, again more.
Let me ask you this though, Eric. Let's say that you and your wife of 46 years or so, you're in a conversation, you're experiencing in a day something in life. Do those same set of rules apply around praise, no matter what?
Absolutely. And Viv has done that, forever. She believed in me back when, last week when I was still an idiot. She is, we praise each other.
Beautiful.
All the time.
So what about when she gets impatient with you? Does she still praise you, or does she?
There are those times. But if you've been waterboarded enough with praise, those little times, they just go by the wayside. You just let them go. I know enough waterboarding's coming.
Beautiful. So for those of you that may have read or embraced the book, The 5 Love Languages, really what we're talking about praise is words of affirmation. It's the same thing. Yep. Instead of finding fault or pointing out the flaws in the diamond, what if we were just to see the diamond in a true essence of how brilliant it is, and how clear and how much clarity is in the diamond? We all have flaws, Eric. And something that has really stood out for me, and I want to share this with you, because that's what we do on Real Men, Real Talk. We hear something and we go in because we trust each other, and we know that we're not here to harm or hurt each other. We just are here to inspire one another. And so, I've heard you say a few times, you referred to your younger self as Dumb Eric. And I want to invite you to change your relationship with that younger part of yourself, that maybe that's how you felt years ago. But look, I'm a viewer. I am a fan. And most importantly, I fell in love with you, your spirit and your wisdom that you infuse in every show. Let me tell you something. If you haven't figured it out by age 75, my friend, there is nothing dumb left in you. You are an absolutely beautiful, brilliant man. And for whatever time you have left in this lifetime, I just want to encourage and invite you to change your relationship with that part of yourself that you may have felt when you were younger, but that's not who you are today.
That's a great story change. That's a good change of the story. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. And we're at a different chapter now.
Yeah.
and I can be handed a new script.
There you go, brother.
Yeah.
You know,
so
and
Eric's
that's
the
the
brilliant.
best
Eric's
part.
the brilliant man, right, Josh?
Yep. Yep. And that's the best part about this book, right? We're writing it. So we can, if we don't like the way the chapter's going, toss it out and rewrite a new one. Hey, it ain't over until the book fully closes. So
I have a question. I have a question because one of my old challenges was praise.
Mm-hmm.
Was even, you know, as a photographer working with makeup artists, stylists, whatever, I remember back many, many years ago where I worked with a stylist. I don't remember what it was. And she said to the makeup artist who was my friend, I didn't know how I was doing because Jeff never said anything. And I said, Maria, what is she talking about? Well, you didn't say you didn't like it. You didn't say you liked it. You didn't know. And I started to think about it. And I went, wow. At that point in my life, which is now many years ago, because I never received praise or any, you know, good job, fantastic, way to go, you know, whatever it was, I never received any of that. I was never told you're not good enough and all that good stuff, but I never even received, you know, great job, Jeff, in anything that I did. I didn't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know how to tell the stylist, wow. And I remember it. She did a great job. I didn't even know that it was not even in my sphere of consciousness to do anything like that because I never received it. I didn't even know what that was. So my question to you is that something that along the way you have learned to do because of, you know, something in your life or whatever, you know, because for me, it's something that I had to learn within myself to start praising myself and giving to myself because I didn't even know how to take a compliment because I had never gotten one.
It's learning. Let's bring it into the present tense. I'm learning how to do it. And you're absolutely right, Josh, that chapter needs to be set down in the next chapter of the book. Brought up because I'm not stupid. I ain't the brightest bulb in the pack.
Brilliant. You're not the brightest, but you're brilliant.
I shine. I do shine. And and I do have to change that message because that taints the delivery.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I just saw. And it's our we can't taint the delivery and ask the recipient to give us back a good report or a report because we've already tainted the delivery.
There you go.
Yeah.
How does it, Eric? I want to ask you. First, I want to thank you for giving me permission to share a truth that I felt within me tonight. I felt pain for little Eric, and I also felt pain for you as the adult, let's say adult parent of that little boy within. He needs that praise, that same praise that you give out to your students. That little boy within you, he's been waiting a lifetime to receive that praise from you as his father of self.
Yeah.
And so if there's nothing else that comes forward from tonight's show, we get to, sometimes we show up as the teachers, and sometimes we get to show up as the student.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if there's not a greater gift that we can receive is when we're open to receive. And so thank you for being open and allowing me to share my perspective. Ev, what do you make of what we've just been talking about right here, right now?
Yeah, that's the magic, isn't it? Being open to receive. It's really interesting because, you know, being able to honor this truth of ourselves, it can be really hard. It can be really a challenge, particularly in those earlier years, if we didn't receive some of those compliments as a gift, or we didn't receive some of that talk that really started to give us confidence within our lives and bring us self-esteem. But through my journey, uplifting a lot of people around me, what I found in my early days, when a lot of people would say I was a pretty solo dude, and I keep to myself, so to speak, Eric.
Wait one. I can't hear very good. Pretty something views. Pretty what kind of views?
Sorry, brother.
You said pretty solid views, or I didn't catch that word solid. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The term we use here in the land down under. But those days, what I've really leaned back and learnt on is that it was no one else's job to praise me. It didn't have to do with my teacher, didn't have to do with my coach in my football team. It didn't have to do with my auntie or uncle, my brother, sister, whoever it may have been outside of myself. It all had to do with teaching the lesson of how to love me.
Yeah.
I was being taught the lesson to praise myself. And we call that self-love. So when we talk about crossing the T for that capital T of the truth of love,
Yeah.
well, what is the dot to the I when we talk about crossing our T's and dotting the I's?
Yeah.
The dot of the I is you coming home to yourself. So your dot starts to see your truth, to see your love.
And I, for one, I'm sorry, gentlemen, was able to pick up on what you guys were saying because of the television series, and I watched them too. And there were a couple of thoughts in there that if you'd have told me that came out of my mouth, I would have sworn on a stack of Bibles. I never said that ever in my life. I never even thought that. I mean, they were brilliant. The one that we need tradition to walk hand in hand with us into progress so that we have something to lean on. That was a brilliant thought. I never thought that.
Where did it come from? Where do you think it came from, Eric?
Who knows? But the point being is that was damn smart, and I said it. That was because I watched it. I saw it on TV.
I remember that specific line. It was beautiful.
Well, what was your takeaway from it, Josh, if I may ask?
Can you say it one more time, Eric? We need
tradition, our traditions, to walk hand in hand with us into progress so that we don't lose our way.
Yep. And what that said to me was that we need to honor the past. We need to honor knowledge. Yes. We need to honor the people before us so that we don't make the same mistakes again in our future.
Yeah.
With what time we have left, Eric, I'd like to.
God, it went so fast.
Yeah. Well, when you're present, time moves really quick, as we've all learned.
Ooh, yeah.
We're not living in the past. We're not projecting out the future, and we're right here, right now. Time moves really quickly. But I'm curious, Eric, of all of the, well, before we go there, I would like to ask you, I don't know if this has changed or not, but in listening to a video that I picked up on YouTube of yours, of the Blue Ox Company video that you did, where you talked about the Golden Gate Bridge and how man said that was not possible to be done. And it was done, it was built. I am curious, as at that time, you said that your newest piece of equipment that you use in your business was from 1948. Has anything changed in the last 10 years? Is that still the newest piece of equipment that you use?
That's the newest. That's the newest heavy machinery that we have. The oldest is 1866, and they're all used daily, huh?
Is the
What?
warranty still good on that, or you think that's expired?
Well, I sure wouldn't get away with that in my business.
I am curious. What is your infatuation or love with equipment that is ageless? That in most woodworking shops today, in most carpentry shops today, in most craftsmen's shops today, you wouldn't have equipment dating back till the 1800s or your newest being 1948. What is your intimate relationship with the older equipment, and consciously making a choice not to invest in equipment dated 2022 or 3?
Number one is that I have been offered, even once at a price I could afford, automatic lathes that turn a baluster or a spindle, and you just put the piece in, it turns it, you take it out, put the next piece in. And I know by that point in time, I knew myself good enough to know that I would lose my talent as a lathe turner, because I will migrate to the easy. And I didn't want to do that. I've spent my whole life honing the skills that I have honed, and I didn't want to lose them. That's one thing. But secondly, these tools that we use, we had a woodworking society here in town for a number of years, and they came down one time on a tour, and I think I ran the molder, the four-side molding machine, 1912, for them, for just a couple boards. And at the end of the tour, a lady came up to me and she said, the difference between what you do and I do, she said, I set my machines up and I'm just a board hander. I do the boards. That's all I do. Hand the boards, hand the boards, hand the boards. She said, you fiddled with the machine. It was a dance between you and the machine all the time as it's running. You're fiddling with it and keeping it in adjustment and fiddling with it. And she said it was this marvelous dance you guys were doing together, and to me that's important.
It also, what I'm hearing too is, in my world as a photographer, what you're keeping in it by using that equipment is your artistry within it.
Beautiful.
That's in your heart space, and the feel that you have of what you're doing in your you are doing your craft, and that artistry is in there. The automation in all of it, i.e. digital cameras, has taken a lot of that away. And what she was saying is that I'm a board handler. That's what I do. And I'm really not the artist that you are. That's the key to all of it, because I've watched the stuff that you do and the way you do it and the artistry and the heart and the feel that you put into it. She is a board handler with all of this new equipment, which is when, in my world, quote unquote photographers learning photography with a digital camera in their hand on autofocus and this, that, and the other thing. And all they do is click the shutter as opposed to learning it from the inside out.
Beautiful. I
And
love
think,
that.
And I think I would just kind of want to bookend this whole thing with Eric. You just, so I love to call these drops, like when a message comes and land, when you get like a problem solving or you've been trying to figure something out and then the answer comes and you're like, oh, that's it. I like to call those drops. And I just got a drop while you guys were wrapping up these final thoughts here, was that it's not the automation of the new lathes that you're talking about make it easy, right?
Yeah.
But easy doesn't make you a craftsman. And it's actually the difficult things in life that make us good.
Boom.
It's actually the hard things that make us better people, better craftsmen, that make me a better Josh, that make you a better Eric, and you a better Jeff, and Evis and Jay. That it's actually the hard things in life we should embrace and we should love and we should be grateful for. And how often do we curse the hard things? But man, if life is just filled with the easy, then we don't get good at anything, and we don't learn about ourselves. And that's the drop that I just got from all of you from tonight's show. So thank you. That was the message that I'm going to walk away with, and I'm going to be a better Josh tomorrow because of all of you tonight. And thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Eric, as we're about 2 minutes over the hour, and I want to respect your time and your evening, I wanted to invite you just to close us out with a few thoughts that came from your experience of joining us for the first time on Real Men Real Talk Live. What has this been like for you tonight, and what's your number one takeaway for yourself as well as for viewers, students, teachers, anyone that picks us up live or on replay tonight? Are you thinking, Eric? Did you hear me?
It was pointed at me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. What's your number one? What's your takeaways from tonight's show, and what message, if you could leave it with all of us live on Real Men Real Talk Live, what is that message?
I have to process. It's the way that I work. So I have to process the information. But my biggest takeaway is that we all listen to each other. That's if we can do that as human beings, we don't have to agree. We ain't never going to come to truth with a capital T anyway. But every one of us listened, and we listened to the whole rabbit trail that the other one was going down, and didn't get stuck on right at the beginning. Oh, I know what I can say back. Oh, I got it. No, we went down the rabbit trail with them and then answered where the rabbit trail went. And if we can do that, we are whole human beings.
There you go, brother.
Well, there must be some truth there, because when there's truth, Eric, I get chills that radiate throughout my entire body temple, and you brought me to chills right here, right now. So there's truth in that.
Okay.
All right, and with that, I want to thank Eric Hollenbeck for joining us from the Craftsman, taking time out of his busy week here, early 2023, for joining us for the first time. I'm going to take a wild guess and say there's a pretty good chance we'd love to have you back in the near future, down the road, when we're called to have you back in, or when you'd like to join us again, because you are no doubt a brilliant, real man, doing some real talk, smacking it down tonight with our beautiful co-host, Everslove Heath, the man of the land, from down under, Josh Richer, and Jeff Fasano. And I just want to take a moment here just to thank all of our viewers that picked us up live or pick us up on replay. The good news is you showed up right on time, your time. We love you. Peace and blessings. We'll call it a wrap. We'll catch you next week on Real Men, Real Talk Live.